I'm a 4-time sexual assault survivor. I'm a 3-time cancer survivor. I'm a 1-time physical assault survivor. And once, I almost died in a Class 6 rapid. I want you to think about the most terrifying thing that you experienced, the most frightening thing that you went through that happened to you. Do you have it in your hands? And remember that this is the most terrifying thing that you already overcame. So hold on to that thought. So all the things that I just started off with and showed you that happened to me, they just happened to me. I didn't choose them. But those things do not define me. Right. Instead, what does define me, and you heard a little bit about that, is that I'm a leader, I'm a creator, I'm an innovator, I'm a 7-time entrepreneur, and I'm a new thinker. Thank you. But here's what I really want us to talk about, and I want you to listen about, is that in this world, right, things happen to us. They're put upon us, and people talk about things that are put upon us. So we are riddled with this limiting belief system, these things that are supposed to define us. And instead, we're going to look past that, and I want you to realize that those are not the things that should define you, that you should define you, okay? My very first company, I was asked to help launch this new low-cost airline. And I was asked by another agency, a colleague of mine, and honestly, I just had started this company. I was 2 weeks into having an LLC. And I was supposed to start this in 6 weeks, hire a team, and have a strategy, and put it all together in just a 6 weeks period of time. That is such a short time period to do something that kind of miraculous. And on top of that, I saw a memo that said that I was going to fail. They expected me to fail. So there was a limiting belief already put there, right there, before I even got started. But guess what? I did all of that in 2 weeks, and I hired 65 people. I just bought books to figure it out and read them very quickly, and I made it happen. And I made it happen because even though somebody put a limiting belief on me, the thing that I was most afraid of in life had already occurred, right? That thing that I already overcame, it didn't matter that they were already putting a barrier. So I could overcome that barrier because I turned the barrier into an opportunity. Oh, thanks. Thank you. So remember the thing that you thought about. The thing that you overcame that made you resilient, that you didn't even know that you could be resilient. You have it back in your brain, in your mind. So when you're ever faced with something that someone is trying to limit you and trying to hold you back and trying to create a barrier, remember that you already overcame something that just happened to you. So now you're in a place that you're choosing. There's no fear there. You can break through that barrier. You can be fearless. There's another time that I had a second company, and this was a time where I had this really big client. You thought that one was big, this one was way bigger because it was an old bank, and that felt much bigger to me. And I stayed up all night creating this report. I get ushered up into the boardroom, and here I was, weary-eyed but excited and thrilled to deliver this report to these individuals. I walk in, nobody looks like me. And the first thing that happens is the CEO rushes up to me and says, "Who are you? Why are you qualified to be here? Where did you graduate college from? And what was your GPA?" Intimidating, right? Whoa, slow it down, sir. But at the same moment where I was supposed to be intimidated, I went back to the place that I had already overcame the biggest bully in my life. Remember what I told you about? So this man, whatever, I told him exactly who I was, and also told him, I finished with saying that I know everything about your customer satisfaction and their experience with you. And that commanded the room and gave me the voice. It gave me this red square, right, or circle that we're standing in that room. So this man was already doubting me, already putting the barrier, already putting the obstacle, but instead of leaning into it, right, leaning into the things that the world tells us, leaning into all the things that we put upon ourselves and all the things that happen to us, instead, not taking those as words that are truths, but being resilient, and resilient in the moments that matter. So go back to that moment that you overcame and tap into the fear, the insurmountable fear that you felt, but you pushed through it because you are a hero. I am a hero. We are warriors. And so when you are in a space, a room that you've chosen, and somebody is putting that limitation on you, you don't have to accept it because you're a hero and a warrior. So when you start believing this and you start putting it down in you, like you in here, you guys, in you. When I say in you, like work on that part, is what happens is people start seeing you exactly how you're meant to be seen. So the adages of there's a glass ceiling, there are limits, like that you can't do this, there are barriers. And I'm not saying there aren't, but when you start believing in you, others see only that and nothing else. So example of that, recently I was invited to the space where only men got invited to. It wasn't a strip club. But it was a place where all the men, all the leaders, political leaders here in Denver, Colorado, go and have cigars. No woman had ever been invited to this, and I was invited. How cool is that, right? Thank you. Thank you. However, back to what I said, right? If I had this belief system that there were limits, there was this glass ceiling, I couldn't do it, someone had to open the door for me, then maybe I wouldn't have been invited to that space. But instead, I open the door. I don't let that limit affect me. Instead, we're fearless. Why? Because the beginning thing that I told you about, those things that happened to me shape my perception, and whatever thing that you put in your head has shaped your perception. And you're much stronger than you originally thought you were. You are a hero, and you are a warrior. So I get invited to the cigar thing. I go. It was great. But here's what's more important. Now I'm in the spaces where decisions are made, contracts are signed, and people create other leaders. And that is what's more important when you realize that there are no limitations on you. So this adage that there's this glass ceiling and you have to be careful about barriers and obstacles in life, there actually are no barriers and there are no obstacles that you cannot overcome. And I did have a slide for you. There are no barriers. Obstacles are opportunities. And I can see beyond the glass ceiling, or better yet, there is no glass ceiling. Thank you.